My name is David. I am 35 years old. I work as a financial advisor in the city. I earn $8,000 every month. I wear expensive suits, I drive a nice car, I live in a big apartment downtown with a view of the city. I worked hard for my success. I studied finance in college. I stayed late at the office every night. I took on difficult clients. I pushed myself to the top. I sacrificed weekends and holidays. Now I have everything I wanted: money, status, respect. I am proud of what I achieved, but sometimes success changes you. Sometimes it makes you forget where you came from. Sometimes it makes you forget to be kind. Every morning I walk to my office. I take the same route, 5th Street to Main Avenue, past the coffee shop, past the newspaper stand, past the small park. The same streets, the same faces, the same routine. And every single morning I see him, the beggar. He sits on the corner of 5th Street, right outside the coffee shop. He wears old, torn clothes that look like they haven't been washed in months. His face is covered with dirt. His hair is long, messy, and gray. He has no shoes, just bare feet wrapped in old cloth. He sits on a piece of cardboard. He holds a small paper cup in his shaking hands. Sometimes the cup has a few coins, most times it's empty. Every day he says the same thing to people walking by. "Please, sir. Please, ma'am. Can you spare some change? I'm very hungry. Please help me." Most people ignore him. They walk past without looking. Some people look at him with disgust. A few people drop a coin or two. But me? I never give him anything, not once. Every day I walk past him like he doesn't exist. I don't look at him, I don't acknowledge him, I just keep walking. Why should I help him? I worked hard for my money. He should do the same. That's what I told myself. One Monday morning, as I walked past him, he tried again. "Sir, please, just $1. I haven't eaten in 2 days. Please, I'm so hungry." I stopped walking. I was annoyed. I turned to look at him. I said coldly, "Get a job. Stop sitting here begging every day. I work hard for my money. You should too." The beggar looked up at me. His eyes were tired, sad, but not angry. He said quietly, "I'm trying, sir. I look for work every day, but no one will hire me. I have no address, no phone, no clean clothes. It's very hard." I didn't care about his excuses. I said harshly, "That's your problem, not mine. Stop making excuses and do something with your life." Then I walked away. I didn't look back. A woman standing nearby looked at me with disapproval, but I didn't care. I thought I was right. I thought I was teaching him a lesson about hard work. But I was wrong. Very, very wrong. 2 weeks passed. I forgot about the beggar. I forgot about what I said to him. Life went on as normal. Work, meetings, money, success. Then, one Friday evening, everything changed. I was driving home from work. It was 8 p.m. I had stayed late to finish a big project. I was tired and eager to get home. It was raining heavily, the kind of rain that makes it hard to see the road. My windshield wipers moved back and forth quickly, but it wasn't enough. The roads were slippery and dangerous. I should have driven slowly, but I was in a hurry. I was driving too fast. Suddenly, my car hit a large puddle of water on the road. The car started sliding to the left. I couldn't control it. I gripped the steering wheel tightly. I tried to steer. I tried to brake, but it was too late. Crash. My car slammed into a metal pole on the side of the road. The impact was strong. The airbag exploded in my face. My head hit the steering wheel despite the airbag. Everything went silent for a moment. Then I heard the hissing sound of the engine. I smelled smoke. My head was spinning. I felt warm liquid running down my face. Blood. I tasted it in my mouth. I tried to move. Pain shot through my chest and shoulder, but I had to get out. The car might catch fire. I pushed the airbag away. I tried to open the door, but it was jammed. I pushed harder. I used all my strength. Finally, the door opened with a loud creak. I stumbled out of the car. My legs were shaking. I almost fell. I looked around. The street was completely empty. No cars, no people, just rain, darkness, and the broken streetlights flickering. I reached into my pocket for my phone. My hands were trembling. I pulled it out. The screen was shattered, completely destroyed. It wouldn't turn on. Panic set in. How would I call for help? I looked at my car. It was totaled. Smoke was coming from the hood. I couldn't stay here. I started walking. I didn't know where I was. The rain was so heavy I could barely see. I just walked, hoping to find someone, anyone. My head throbbed with pain. Blood dripped from my forehead into my eyes. I wiped it away, but it kept coming. I walked for 10 minutes, maybe 15. I couldn't tell anymore. My vision was getting blurry. My legs felt like they weighed 1,000 pounds. Then I felt dizzy, very dizzy. The ground seemed to move beneath me. I tried to steady myself, but I couldn't. I collapsed. I fell hard on the wet sidewalk. The rain poured down on me. I tried to get up, but I couldn't. My body wouldn't move. I lay there, soaking wet, bleeding, alone. I thought, this is it. I'm going to die here, alone in the rain. No one will find me. I closed my eyes. I felt myself fading. But then I heard something. Footsteps, slow footsteps coming closer. I tried to lift my head. Through the rain and my blurry vision, I saw a figure approaching. The person came closer and closer. Then I saw his face clearly. It was him, the beggar, Thomas. My heart sunk. Of all the people who could find me, it had to be him, the man I insulted, the man I told to get a job, the man I ignored every day. He stood there for a moment, looking down at me. His face showed recognition. He knew exactly who I was. I waited for him to walk away. I waited for him to say something cruel. I waited for him to ignore me the way I ignored him. I deserved it. But he didn't walk away. Instead, he knelt down beside me in the rain. Water poured over both of us. He said gently, "Sir, you're badly hurt. Don't move. Let me help you." I couldn't believe it. I whispered weakly, "Why? Why would you help me? I was so rude to you. I treated you like you were nothing." Thomas looked at me with kind eyes, eyes that had seen so much pain but still held compassion. He said softly, "Because I know what it feels like to need help and be ignored. I know what it feels like when people walk past you like you don't exist. I would never do that to anyone, not even to someone who hurt me." Tears mixed with the rain on my face. I didn't know if I was crying or if it was just the rain. Thomas took off his jacket. It was the only jacket he had. Old, torn, but it was his only protection from the cold. He wrapped it around my head to stop the bleeding. He tied it gently but firmly. Then he helped me sit up. He put my arm around his shoulder. He said, "There's a hospital about 2 blocks from here. I'll help you get there. Can you try to stand?" I nodded weakly. With his help, I stood up. My legs were shaking. I could barely walk. but Thomas held me. His body was thin and weak, but he was strong enough to support me. Step by step, we walked through the rain. He didn't complain, he didn't say anything, he just walked beside me, holding me up. Every few steps, he would ask, "Are you okay? Can you keep going?" I would nod, and we would keep walking. The rain poured harder. Thomas was soaking wet. He was shivering from the cold, but he didn't let go of me, not once. Finally, after what felt like forever, I saw lights. The hospital. Thomas helped me through the emergency entrance. Nurses rushed over immediately when they saw the blood. They put me on a stretcher. They started asking questions. "What happened? Are you in pain? Can you hear me?" I tried to answer, but I was too weak. Then I remembered Thomas. I turned my head. He was standing by the door, soaking wet, watching the nurses take care of me. I reached out my hand. I called out, "Wait, please don't go." Thomas walked closer. He stood beside the stretcher. I said weakly, "Thank you. You saved my life. What's your name?" He smiled gently. "My name is Thomas." I said, "Thomas, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for everything I said. You're a better man than I ever was." Thomas shook his head. "You don't need to apologize, sir. Just get better." A nurse interrupted. "Sir, we need to take you to the emergency room now." As they wheeled me away, I shouted, "Thomas, wait for me, please." But when I looked back, he was gone. He had walked out into the rain. I stayed in the hospital for 3 days. The doctors said I had a concussion and several bruises, but nothing was broken. I was lucky. But during those 3 days, all I could think about was Thomas, his kindness, his forgiveness, his humanity. He had nothing, but he gave me everything. When I was discharged, the first thing I did was go looking for him. I drove to 5th Street, to the corner where he always sat, but he wasn't there. The cardboard was gone. The cup was gone. Thomas was gone. I asked people nearby, "Have you seen the beggar who sits here? His name is Thomas." An old newspaper vendor said, "Thomas? He hasn't been here for 4 days. I think he's sick. I saw him coughing really bad." My heart dropped. I asked urgently, "Where does he stay?" The vendor pointed down the street. "He sleeps under the bridge, in the alley behind the old factory." I ran. I ran as fast as I could. I found the alley. It was dirty, dark, and cold. And there, under the bridge, lying on a wet piece of cardboard, was Thomas. He was shivering violently. His face was pale and sweaty. His breathing was shallow and labored. I knelt beside him. I shook his shoulder gently. "Thomas, Thomas, it's me, David, wake up." He opened his eyes slowly. They were unfocused. He whispered, "Sir, you're okay." I said, "Yes, I'm okay because of you, but you're not okay. You're very sick." He tried to smile. "It's just a cold, sir. I'll be fine." Tears ran down my face. I said, "No, Thomas, you're not fine. You got sick because you gave me your jacket. You walked in the rain to save me, and now you're suffering because of me." I pulled out my phone. I called an ambulance immediately. Within minutes, paramedics arrived. They put Thomas on a stretcher. His body was burning with fever. One paramedic said to me, "He has severe pneumonia. If you had found him even 1 day later, he might not have survived." I rode in the ambulance with him. I held his hand. I whispered, "Hold on, Thomas. Please hold on." At the hospital, doctors rushed him into intensive care. I waited outside. Hours passed. I didn't leave. Finally, a doctor came out. He said, "Your friend is stable now, but he needs to stay here for at least a week. His body is very weak." I said, "I'll pay for everything, whatever he needs." For the next week, I visited Thomas every single day. I brought him food. I brought him clean clothes. I sat by his bed and talked to him. We talked about life, about struggles, about pain. Thomas told me his story. He used to have a family, a wife named Elena, a daughter named Sophie. He worked as a middle school teacher. He had a home, he had a life. But 5 years ago, his wife died in a car accident. He fell into deep depression. He couldn't work, he couldn't function. He lost his job, he couldn't pay rent, he lost his home. He ended up on the streets, alone, forgotten, invisible. But through all of that pain, he never lost his kindness. He never lost his humanity. He said to me, "When you have nothing, you realize that kindness is the only thing that matters. It's the only thing we can give that costs nothing, but means everything." His words changed me. When Thomas recovered and was discharged, I made him an offer. I said, "Thomas, I want to help you. I have a job for you at my office. It's simple work, organizing files, helping with office tasks. It comes with a salary, and I'll help you find an apartment." Thomas's eyes filled with tears. He said, "Why would you do all this for me? I'm nobody." I put my hand on his shoulder. I said, "You're not nobody, Thomas. You're the man who taught me the most important lesson of my life. You showed me that kindness matters more than money. You showed me that how we treat people defines who we are." Today, 6 months later, Thomas works at my office. He has a small apartment, he has food, he has dignity. But more than an employee, he became my friend, my teacher, my reminder to be better. Every morning when I walk to work, I pass by 5th Street. The corner where Thomas used to sit is empty now. But I never forget. I never forget the beggar I ignored, the man who saved my life. Now, whenever I see someone in need, I stop, I help, I listen, because I learned something that changed me forever. Never judge people by how they look. Never ignore someone who needs help, because you never know, that person might be the one who saves your life. Thank you for listening to this story. If you liked it, please like the video, share it, and subscribe to the Story Reading in English channel. Your support helps more stories reach people like you. With every story, our English gets better and our hearts get stronger.